To evaluate the situation in Libya, we're joined by Admiral Jacques Lanxade, former Chief of Staff of the French Army and former ambassador to Tunisia. On the fifth day of the intervention in Libya, members of the coalition have finally agreed on a role for NATO. Paris talks of a technical role. Why has this taken so much time?
I
believe that the French position, but equally that of several other countries, was that NATO has an image in the Arab world which is an aggressive image. That's one of Western nations against developing countries, which is a great exaggeration. So the idea was that this coalition was needed, that is, a coalition of the international community comprising not only Western forces but also Arab countries, so NATO didn't seem to France to be very appropriate.
Admiral, it's easy to start a war, it's harder to end one, and it seems hard to imagine the Libyan regime collapsing from within. In your view, what strategy is the international coalition going to pursue?
Mon sentiment personnel, c'est que nous avons devant nous deux scénarios.
My personal feeling is that we have two scenarios before us. The first being that Gaddafi, pushed by his entourage perhaps, leaves power. And today we hear about negotiations which are already underway for the guide to the Libyan revolution, as he calls himself, to go.
Le guide de la révolution libyenne, comme il s'appelle, se retire.
I'm not sure that things will happen like that.
Comme ça.
The other scenario, unfortunately, is that of the status quo, which means a partition of the country. A partition between, on the one side, Cyrenaica under the control of the opposition and Tripolitania under the control of the Gaddafi clan. I fear that the second scenario is the more probable.
Je crains que ce deuxième scénario soit le plus probable.
Now that an exclusion zone is in place, should the coalition launch a ground offensive?
Il ne faut certainement pas aller au sol. D'ailleurs,
there should certainly not be a ground offensive. Besides, the United Nations resolution did not authorize one, and I think that it would be extremely dangerous to do it. I think that it's now up to the Libyans to find a solution. In other words, for the opposition to see whether it's in a position to shove events along and make sure that Gaddafi leaves, because there'll be no definitive solution with Gaddafi in power.
Se retire parce qu'il n'y aura pas de solution définitive avec Kadhafi au pouvoir.
Can we imagine an indirect attack by the international community against Colonel Gaddafi, since a direct one is not allowed under the UN mandate?
Je ne crois pas qu'on puisse atteindre Kadhafi.
I don't believe that Gaddafi can be hit. He is extremely careful. He has underground bunkers. It is possible to get rid of certain things around him and make his situation more difficult. But physically, I think that, barring an accident, it's very difficult to hit him.
Je crois, sauf accident, je crois qu'il est extrêmement difficile de l'atteindre.
Amiral Jacques Lanxade, ancien chef d'état-major des armées françaises, merci d'avoir répondu aux questions d'Euronews.